Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a pretty clunky rack with a lot of high-scoring consonants. The immediate play which strikes me is Vox, keeping 4 consonants, but one of them is a Y, so that's not a disaster. So Vox for 26. Wow, fantastic pickup. I could easily have a bingo here. A couple of high-scoring tiles in the H and the Y, but I've got the L and IL to go with the Y. Certainly there will be some 8s here, heartily and earthily, through A or T. Do I have anything with the floaters on the board at the moment? Can't see anything with the V. Could easily have something with the O, and not with the X. Okay, so I'm most likely to get down a 7, or am I? Yes, column 10 next to MI. So let me just run through the alphabet and see if anything springs to mind. I don't think Herbally is good. I haven't seen anything so far. But this is quite a promising set of tiles, so I'm optimistic I'll see something. Hillary, not good. Well, this isn't looking too great. So I've got the Philly ending with RE. So what about the S? Not that I can see. Now, what about Lithery? Not good. Is there an anagram? Often the case when you think of a word and it's not good. Rhyolite through an O, well that was blocked. Okay, so I haven't seen a 7. What about a play going through OM? Tricky to see, and unlikely through XI, so I don't think I am bingoing here. So how to sort the rack out? I could play Homily. That doesn't give too much away. 18 points. And the rack leave is good. Truther works. Nowhere for that at the moment. Vox was a very blocky opening play. Hurtler may be good through the L. It's not. But I'm slightly more optimistic with this rack than the previous one that I have something. Let me have a look for 7s while my opponent's on turn. Brother not good with a U. Now that's further. And I have in mind particularly column 10 for hooking MI. I think that's my only 7-letter lane. Ruthia not good. Hurtler not good. I don't think Routher is good, but it could be. I don't think it is. Now that's Truther, which again doesn't hook MI. And doesn't have an anagram. Opponent taking a while with his move. Okay, so Further and Truther are the only 2 7s that I've seen. What about the L or the Y? Well, I no longer have an L for going with the Y. So that's not looking promising. What about the L? No, not seeing anything there. Well, hopefully my opponent may provide some form of opening. It's a shame when you have a bingo on your rack not to get it down. Now let me consider the... Wow. Opponent really not giving anything away, but must be close to a bingo to burn the S with just 12 points. So do I have something through IS? I would have the IST ending or the ISER. The U not particularly helpful. Let me consider the Y, because I've got the ERY ending. So let me think about this rack with a Y. Now, has my opponent's play changed anything in terms of 7-letter plays? No, because they would still have to hook MI. Do I have... I was thinking of theurgy, which I do have, but it's a 7-letter play. So it would leave one tile on my rack. Slow start to this game, sometimes the case. But I would only be doing this exercise if I thought there was a good chance of finding something. True 3 not good. Okay, so now my H can make ish, which is good. So I can play hurt, sorting out my duplicate R, getting rid of my U, and scoring 29 points and a decent rack leave. Now I guess I had hurters as well, but nowhere for that. And this is, it's bingo-y, but again it's got its own problems. Very few 7-letter lanes on this board, if any. Ish takes nothing after it. I do have a 40-point lead, so although with a blank you'd ordinarily be looking for an open board, it's not a problem for me that the board is not open. Now, opponent has created a spot, but it's not a spot I can use because I have nothing which goes underneath the I apart from the blank, and I'm only going to use that if I have a bingo. And then the play would have to end A blank, and I don't have that. But I was going to say I could have a play ending A, but I think that's unlikely. Is there any point in looking for 7s? I don't think there is. I think this is too unbingo-y to do that, and the board is just too limited in terms of 7-letter lanes. 14 minutes on my clock, 68 tails in the bag, and I lead by about 20 points. So, how to play through this? Well, I can play Re. 14 points totally sorts the rack out, creates a really hot bingo lane in column 12, which is good because row O is super hot and not available to me. And my rack leave should mean that I should be able to score pretty big with either one of those openings. Excellent. So I have readies in column 12. What do I have in row O? And I note that my D can go after the I, but AD ending words not particularly common. However, I may have a 7 ending in A. So I have Beardy, D-add, Federy. Wow, nice play by my opponent. Let me finish this exercise for a play in row O. Not seen anything which works. Well, that looks pretty bingo-y, but I'm not seeing a play. Okay, so I don't have a bingo in row O that I can see. Do I have a bingo which plays in columns 11 or 13? Well, I do, because I have readier in column 13. Do I have something which doesn't take a hook in front? Wow, beardy nearly works. I think I will play readier. Or what about leadier? That doesn't take something in front. So leadier for 73. Not too bad. Balanced in terms of vowels and consonants, and I've got the Z. And although F and V are a pretty awful pair of tiles to have, I do have the word favour on my rack. So after that exchange of bingos, my opponent and I are dead level on 160 points each. Now I do have favour at the bottom, but stopping one square short of the triple word square. My L can go in that spot. So do I have a play ending AL? Using one or two of F, V and Z. Well, I'm not sure I do. I could play Vizsla in column 15, which would totally sort the rack out, leaving just FA, a pretty low score. So why don't I do something a bit more scory? Zilla, 66 points, keeping FV, which is bad, but the score compensates. Zilla takes an H at the end, but they've both gone. I draw the second blank, and I have a balanced rack. And I have a lead of 60 points. And I have Fovea on my rack. I'm surprised this row O has stayed available for so long, but it has. Wow, look at that. 92-point play from my opponent. He bingos twice in 3 moves, and he moves into a 30-point lead. I can play Fovea and Tsar, keeping the U. Maybe I could play off just U and V, keeping the F. So I have Juve here for 21. Is that the right play? I think it is. It sorts the rack out, and it creates 2 new bingo lanes. And it leaves row O alone as a bingo lane. It's not a great score, but I think the only better score would be if there was a play in row O, and I'm just not seeing that. Well, unless I play FA, 32 points, but keeping U and V. 9 minutes on my clock. I suspect this is not optimal, but I prefer getting rid of U and V than getting rid of F and V. So I'm going with this. Not good drawing that Q. However, I'm only 5 points behind and I have the blank. And I do have 2 spots on the board for the Q above the Eye of Zilla. And, well, that's gone, but the Eye of Storming also available. And there is the U of Uva, but I don't think I've got a Q play through that, which is annoying. 32 points for my opponent, good score for him. So, what to do here? If I just play off QI, it's only 11 points, and my rack leave is awful, so I'd probably be better off changing. Maybe I should change. Is there really nowhere better for my Q? And look at this. Well, why don't I play FA? Or Oaf. Oaf, I think. Yeah, that feels much better. Look at that, 42 points. Can't believe I was on the brink of changing. That would have been a terrible, terrible decision. But Oaf for 42 is fine. There's the U of Uva available for my Q, plus the blank available as a U or an I. And I'm taking out a good spot for my opponent, and I'm creating a new lane in column 5, which is good, since I have the blank. Oaf for 45. Well, I don't think I have a bingo here, but this is quite a nice rack. And I have equate in column 8, except I don't. That doesn't quite fit. It's slightly too long. But the Eye of Storming still available, and the rack leave after playing just the Q is pretty bingo-y. And I have cat on the rack, so I've got cat and ut. Do I have anywhere else for cat? I don't think so, but it's good to have 2 spots for the Q. And I'm just checking again in column 8 to see if I've got anything through the U, and I don't think I have. It'll be quite nice to leave that alone, because that U is creating 2 7-letter bingo lanes, and I have the blank. Look at these scores, just 5 points between us. So a really close game. And the remaining tiles, both blanks gone, or on my rack, and the same for the S's. However, still quite a few E's. And overall, a lot of the high-scoring tiles have gone, so the remaining tiles quite bingo-y. So my preference is for playing, well, is it for playing Chi or Cat? Bala, not good, I don't think. No. So only one eye to come. I think I will play Chi here. I think if my opponent plays in row N, he won't be getting a super massive score. And the trouble with Cat is that if my opponent's got the eye, it's providing a scoring spot for him, and it's taking out bingo lanes. Probably the worst tile I could have drawn. However, well, I was going to say, do I have a bingo? But a bingo is likely to end in E, and that doesn't work for rows B and D, or indeed anywhere else. So, how to sort this out? I'm looking to play off a T and 2 E's. So I can do that with T, bail and die. 15 points, pretty lame. Especially as I trail by 14 with my opponent on turn. But I have no scoring tiles. Do I have a bingo ending in L or Y? Wow, bingo from my opponent. Fantastic stuff for him. 83 points. That puts him into a 97-point lead. Can I come back straight away with a bingo? So, what are the floaters? Well, the N, R and F all look like possibilities. But 3 E's, 2 T's make it hard to spot a bingo. So what about the F? Can't see anything there. 6 minutes on my clock. What about the R? I've got the E, double T, E ending. That doesn't help me. The A is no good. What about the N? I've got the anti-prefix with TEE. That's not good. I don't quite have anteater. Now if I play T in column 15, my opponent's likely to just play parallel to franca. So do I have an alternative play, and have I given up on a bingo? The F looks possible, but I'm short on time. And although it looks possible, I don't feel that there is a bingo there. No, I'm not seeing anything. I'm going with T. I'm hoping my opponent can't block everything and my blank will come to the rescue. So T for 15. I draw UWO. So I have outwear on my rack. I have outweary in row L. Fantastic. W and U, normally a horrible pickup. But on this occasion, it's given me a bingo, and a bingo that my opponent is unlikely to block because I think he's going to be focused on the floaters in franca. And hopefully he won't be able to score very much by playing parallel because both the double word squares are next to single point tiles. Yep. Well, 30 points pretty good. And my opponent has now got a 110-point lead, so still a huge favourite. But I have outweary for 78. Horrendous pickup, and only 4 tiles in the bag. The remaining tiles not fabulous. But my opponent's got a 30-point lead and should be able to hang on. I'm not seeing anything fantastic for my rack. I've got Goog above franca. 26 points. KY takes an E underneath, which I've got. And Ad takes an O. So I have a Gouge. £31 points. Okay, that's a better play. Opponent, I think, is likely to be drawn to column 1. From his perspective, the remaining tiles are what you see on the bottom, less his rack, plus what I've got on my rack. So, depending on what he's got, he may worry about a bingo. He takes it out for 21. A Gouge remains available. No tiles in the bag. But I think his lead is going to be too strong. So a Gouge for 31 is going to take me to 424. I trail by 24 with double O. Do I have 2 spots for double O? Well, look at this. Opponent's got the I for Chi. 34 points there. I don't think I can do anything about that, apart from playing something like Goog for almost nothing. So I think I'm better off playing a Gouge and giving myself an out next go with OW and OE. I don't think there was anything better to look for than a Gouge. I think my only hope is that my opponent doesn't see what he's just played. So he now leads by 60 points. I get 12 on countback for 36. I need to score about 40 or 50 points with double O. That's not going to happen. I think this is the best I can do for 13. Let me just quickly scan the board for something better. That's 13. What do we have up here? The same. Okay, I'm going with this. And the final score, 449 to me, 482 to my opponent, a winning margin of 33 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. I played Vox. That looks fine, although Oryx also available. Better to jettison the V, though. Opponent's rack. He plays my. Now. No bingo here. And I play Homily, which looks fine. Opponent has 3 S's. That's why he played one of them so cheaply. And there was a bingo here. Just the one. Urethral. So well done if you spotted that. 70 points. I played Hurt for 29, retaining blank ER, which is probably a 35 or even 40 point rack leave, and 40 points would take this move up to 69, so there's probably not a huge amount between Urethral and Hurt, especially when you consider that Urethral places an O in the middle of column 1. But I would have played Urethral if I'd have seen it. I think it probably has a slight edge. Opponent plays Gins. Wow, look at this. There was a bingo here. Wow. Playable at I6 because of the D hook for Gins. Arid for 69. Fantastic. Okay, well I missed that. And I played Re for 14 and a good rack leave, and certainly a read would have been significantly better. Opponent has a choice of bingos. And now, well, do I have something in column 6? I do not. So I just have, well, I have a ton of plays, and I scored 73. I could have got 74. And at this point, I still lead by 30 points, and my opponent's got an all-consonant rack. So he plays Carbs, and I have Zilla for 66. And look at this, fantastic for my opponent. He had an all-consonant rack, played off 3 of them, and draws a bingo. Just the one with Storming, and he spots it, and goes into a 20-point lead. So, I have Oaf here, and I think this may be the point at which I play Juva for 21. And I do. And both of these moves have merits. Oaf obviously has got the higher score, but it's got the UV combination. Juva, the lower score, but it has a much better rack leave, and it's creating bingo lanes. So, although a big score differential, I think Oaf may be not quite as much better as 21 points. Now, opponent's rack. He plays Pleb. And Oaf remains available, and I play it. So at this point, there's just 5 points between us. Opponent plays Lip. I have the Q. Acqui burns the blank, as does all of these top plays. Cat I considered and didn't like. Quat I don't like because of its A front hook. So, although my move doesn't appear, I actually do prefer Chi. Great bingo for my opponent, Franca. Now, did I miss a bingo here? Yes, I did. So, what did I miss? I missed Jeanette at A5. Yep, through the N. Enter 8 at C5. Through the N. And Edentate at A5 through the N. So, all the bingos were through the N of Franca. And I missed them all. So I played T for 15. Opponent plays Day. And now finally I do spot a bingo without weary. Rootway also playable. Opponent plays Duetto, and I have a gauge for 31. So I'm 20 points behind, but opponent's got 30 points for win. And now the game is out of reach and all I can score is 13. So, quite a high scoring game, both of us in the mid to high 400s. And despite a very tight board, I think there were 3 missed bingos on my part in that game, which probably did have an effect on the outcome of the game. So well done if you spotted any of those. I hope you enjoyed watching this game, and I will see you next time.